1 today in 2 Peter chapter 1. We're going to look down through the first half of verse 10. Peter writes, "But false prophets also arose among the people, just as there will also be false prophet teachers among you, who will secretly introduce destructive heresies, even denying the master who bought them, bringing swift destruction upon themselves. Many will follow their sensuality, and because of them the way of the truth will be maligned. And in their greed they will exploit you with false words. Their judgment from long ago is not idle, and their destruction is not asleep. For if God did not spare angels when they sinned, but cast them into hell and committed them to pits of darkness reserved for judgment, and did not spare the ancient world, but preserved Noah, preacher of righteousness, with 7 others, when he brought a flood upon the world of the ungodly. And if he condemned the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah to destruction by reducing them to ashes, having made them an example to those who would live ungodly lives thereafter. And if he rescued righteous Lot, oppressed by the sensual conduct of unprincipled man, and for what he saw and heard, that righteous man, while living among them, felt his righteous soul tormented day after day by their lawless deeds. Then the Lord knows how to rescue the godly from temptation, and to keep the righteous under punishment for the day of judgment, and especially those who indulge the flesh in its corrupt desires and despise authority." Mark, what do you got?
Peter begins this chapter by talking about false prophets and false teachers, and he says that they are among you. None of us like to think of someone else as a false teacher, especially if you see someone teaching something that you believe to be false, but they seem like genuine and good people. But Peter makes it very clear that there are false teachers, that there are teachers who are doing things that they know are destructive. But I think it also includes, to some degree, some people who don't know that what they are teaching is destructive, but it is. It leads us away from God. You and I, as we live our lives as Christians, we've got to understand that there are those out there who are teaching things that are not helpful to us. And just as God punished people in the past, Peter makes the point that he will deal with them, and I think by implication, he will deal with us. This impresses upon us the need to make sure that everything we do, everything we teach, everything we practice, we preach and teach and practice it because we know that it is sound doctrine and true. False teaching is real. It is destructive, and we need to be aware of that.
Amen. I want us to look at verses 7 and 8 and look at the character of Lot. Oftentimes, anytime that I've ever spoken about Lot or heard people speak about Lot, they talk about Lot's bad decision, how it led to the destruction of his family, how he chose the cities of the plain for his inheritance. The fact is though, this text describes Lot as righteous. And what that reminds us of is we can make bad decisions and it can have physical consequences, but we can still live righteously in the midst of those decisions. He talks about the fact that his soul was tormented day after day by the lawless deeds of the people of Sodom and Gomorrah. And even though he did seemingly make a poor decision, he still lived righteously before God. There may be consequences, but he still held true to his God and what his God called him to be. And as I think about that for us, we're going to make bad decisions. And we may feel the consequences, but we can still decide to serve God and choose to honor him in our lives and bear up under those consequences. So that's the application that we have for you this morning. Thank you for joining us. If you got comments or questions about this text, please let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Hope you all have a great day.